starting with this base glove, I will break it all up into polygroups and not cut it up. But what I'll do then, and I'll explain why it's useful, and I'll explain then also why sometimes why I didn't do it this time. Okay, so you divide it, you clone this. Okay. Okay. Love this. So let's just take the index finger example. If I can, God, this gets so many. So we're back down here and up. Okay. You need to put this on this side. Actually, sorry, I misinterpreted this again. So this is why it's like, it's just easy to misinterpret this stuff. God damn it. Where? So this starts here, wraps around here, and goes to the end. Okay. Okay. So what I would do then is I would go edge loop masked border, and then that would keep this like this. So then, there we go. So you can see it's done, and I can still do the same thing where I go in here, polygroup, or sorry, under masking, just mask by groups, right? And then invert that, and then do polish features, and then you'll see it kind of straightens that out, okay? And so then I can kind of keep everything on one mesh. Now, the problem with that is that when I start going, okay, I want to break up this next one, like, let's see, what's the, no matter where I am, it's like too far away. God, it's so annoying. Sometimes ZBrush is just really not like user friendly. And I don't know too, like these images look really weird on the screen as well. Okay, so I've got this one, and then there's, let's say oh God, this piece goes across. Okay. Then there's this other piece that goes like from here. Let's see if I can try like this. Maybe this will solve it. So yeah, it just goes across there. Okay, but it's the problem with it, or one issue is it's intersecting these two other pieces, and it's not that big of a deal, but when I go, I don't believe I can do an edge loop without exposing the hidden thing. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so I have to unhide this, and then, okay. Let's see if it, yeah, so then you can see what it, maybe it's this problem. Let's unmask this. Okay. What I'm trying to show you is that what ends up happening a lot is these little single like polygon thin strips of polygroups get created in between them, and then it's like it's easy to miss those. So again, like it just did this, so it's either going to create a new strip here, or if I again, come on, or it's going to create a separation here. See what I mean? So if I go, now there's a separation between this group and that one. There's this little thin line that gets created. Or it creates this other this other thing. So like no matter what, I'm getting these thin lines between the groups, and I have to go and like, oh, I want this actually to be apart. I have to go back in and group these together. And so anyways, it can be, you know, a good way to kind of keep everything in one mesh. Let's see here. But then I end up, if I, like chances are I'm gonna miss some of these, and then it's like just these little gaps. Again, it's not that big of a deal, but that's why I just I found that duplicating them and separating them out, at least initially, makes more sense. I don't know if any of this made sense to you guys, but there are reasons why it makes it much more convenient to just keep these pieces all in one mesh, and because I can see what I'm doing, and I can, like, you know, it's just, there's a convenience factor there. But then there's the inconvenient part of, like, if I forget one of these little splits between them, and I invariably will, then it just gets a little bit dicey, or things are just, I have to clean up stuff later. So it's like either way I have to kind of clean stuff up, and I found that this way, separating them out, masking and extracting, is a bit cleaner, okay? Even though it's a little bit more overhead in terms of all the different pieces. Okay, so let's see what I've got as the next step. So I did those pieces in the middle. Oh, I gotta do these little tips here. And I think that might be it. Just on the first three, or no, the middle finger, the ring, and pinky finger. Okay. Okay, come on, there you go. I think I have to do this, I have to create this little pinky piece as well, so. God, this is so annoying. It's like no matter what, it's like not in the right place to see this. So yeah, the pinky is covered just half. Okay, that's simple. Here, just walk you through it again. So I control shift, select this part to hide the underneath part, and then I'm going to delete it. It just makes it much easier to clean up that way. Then I will mask this border. I'll grow it a little bit and then invert it, so that I have just that. So I have a little bit of a cushion there, but the edge is exposed. And then I will polish by features, smooths all that out, and then control click drag to unmask it, and then I'm going to Z-remesh this. So, and again, the reason that I'm doing that is because all these polygons here with the, when I try to give this some thickness and start subdividing and smooth, then I'm gonna end up having these weird artifacts all along the edge. And so you wanna clean these up if you're gonna do panel loops, right? Where I'm giving it thickness. You wanna clean them up anyways. This is just, it's bad topology for sculpting anything. So let's see, I'm gonna try, first I'm going to kind of sharpen up the corner just a little bit, see if I can influence a bit. I'm gonna look, see if that appears to be kind of even with the palm of the hand, or if it's that little piece goes underneath it. Looks like it goes underneath it. Yeah, kind of tucked under it, so the other piece is kind of stitched over. And then up here we have the three sort of fingertips. I'll have to check the size of those, I guess. Close enough. Okay. Not sure about that. Let me check. Yeah, I think I need to make that. So this is fine, but the bottom one I needed to. So to get rid of these other ones, I'm just gonna auto group and then click, click. I don't understand why it does that. So I'm doing this, getting rid of this part. I'm gonna polish the other edges, but I don't want to do, I just want to keep that one straight. And so I got to be careful of the corner. I guess I can just do it like this. And then invert, actually it'll grow a bit, invert, but then I'm gonna just mask out the corners so that they don't get polished. Okay. So detect edges, because I want to hopefully maintain the volume as much as possible. Half. All right. That's fine. Okay, now I've got to fix this. See if I can just sort of pull this up and then reproject. Not a very efficient way to do this. Okay, forget it. I'm just deleting it. I'm gonna just mask it again. It's gonna take me more time to try to fix it this way. Okay. So yeah, polish by features is one of my favorite like little tools. Keep in mind too, like little imperfections make it seem handmade. So little things like this, I'm gonna inflate these to have them meet, but if there's like little splits and gaps here and there, make it seem like it's actually stitched together, kind of works in your favor. Okay, so I gotta zero mesh this. There we go. Detect the edges. You know, I never know, like, sometimes that helps a lot, like, but it's with certain shapes. Detecting edges, if you have too sharp angles, probably anything more than a 90-degree angle, it's going to really struggle with it, and it's just better to go if you need it to have that kind of shape and retopologize it, and be retopologized, then retopologize it yourself, like by hand in Maya. Sometimes that's just faster. I think there's a lesson that I kind of would like to impart on, you know, anybody that's using ZBrush and that gets more into it and starts to go like, oh, well, there are these automatic features, right? And there are ways to tune them to make them like get closer to what you want. but you can spend so much time trying to tune something to get it to give you, to automatically give you something like perfect. You could have just done it by hand faster. So just like, you'll feel it probably, at least I do. I can feel myself going down like a kind of a rabbit hole of trying to make some thing work. Like, oh, if I draw enough of these guiding edges, and if I, do enough to this, it's like, well, what are the gains, right? And sometimes you just have to just do things the old-fashioned way. Okay, so that's going to go. Okay, now these ones. Did I delete something on accident? So like where I'm suddenly missing this like finger. I'm wondering if I deleted it. Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna reload this. Interesting thing about ZBrush is that, there we go. There we go. It's just there. It's just hidden for whatever stupid reason. Okay, so back to these. So these want to give a little bit more of more thickness, like outward thickness. So maybe a bit much. Okay. Then I'll do some inflating beyond that. Okay, I think I have one more thing to do, which is add that strap there. And then there's the, however that's sewn together at the end with that little piece. I think I'll add that different, make a little lip there around those. So just this. Okay. This is where you start to lose your mind here. Okay, this goes closer. the reason also, even though I'm Z-remeshing this, and which would eventually clean up these edges, when you don't polish them first, sometimes you'll still end up with like not a continuous edge loop here. It'll like triangulate something like right here and here, and so that's why I've just found that cleaning it up first makes the Z-remeshing more effective. So like this level of wiggliness, the Z-remeshing will eventually straighten out. Okay. Just a bit too much space back here, but see if we can- why is it not moving? Okay, and then just on this end piece here, I'm going to create a separate little strip on the outside. So this part here. It's not very thick, but it's just, I want it to be a different piece. And I think it's kind of, maybe even a little bit like, there's like a slight fuzziness to it, maybe, just barely.
It's like a canvas texture.
Is it? Yeah. So yeah, the fuzziness might have just been in the photograph. So I think what I'll do, I don't want to do this. It's a little thick. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so that's about all the different pieces, and then what I'm gonna do is go in, start like, take this piece, I'll auto group it just so it doesn't. So there are a couple of things like if I wanted to give this just a little bit of sort of visual noise, you know, go into like, or even texture, you know, I could do that. Like, let's see here. We can explore this. This is worth exploring actually. So let's go down to the base, and I'm going to go into dynamic subdivisions real quick and just see. Again, we're thinking about this as like a visualization thing. So I put on dynamic, and then I'm going to go into the micro poly, and it has a bunch of good fabric, like decent fabric stuff. So we can look at like anything that looks like how canvas is sort of maybe like this, or we'll do this for now. And then we can just something like that. So we have some, it's not really there, right? It's just a free, you know, good visualization for texture. I could turn it into that actually as well, right? You could, if you wanted, let's see here. And then what you do is you go, let's see, where is it? Apply, right? And then suddenly you have the actual geometry, like it's real geometry now. So anyways, but I would say like it's better for flexibility's sake to keep it like that. Okay, so now I'll go in here, and I'm going to start, again, let's look at, I think, yeah, this is pretty flush there. This doesn't really puff out that much, but and then there's a little bit of a lip, a little bit of a raised edge because of the stitching, but these pieces push together pretty well. So what I'm going to do is just divide this to kind of soften those edges. Again, I'm gonna have to fix this part here so that this is raised up. I'll inflate just a little bit, maybe a little bit too much. Wait, what am I doing? I think what I want to do, realize, gotta figure out how, I might have to cut this piece, I think just to here, I think that's what I need to do so that I can have it meet there. so that I can have this piece stitched to that piece. That should be fine. So let's see, I'll duplicate this. And then delete lower, just mask right across here the best I can. And it's just this part that I'm getting rid of. So then edge loop, mouse border. So now I'll do Z remesher at half. That's good. And I'm doing this because I want to have the seam there where these pieces are stitched together. I'm inflating in the negative. Okay. Divide it one more time, and then because I want a little bit of a tighter seam. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'll do the same thing. Well, I already did that. I'm going to pull this one down a little bit. So this one I want the edges to be a little sharper because it's like the leather strips. So I will first go in and crease the edges. Should also get those corners. Yep. Okay, that's good. Maybe one more time. Then grab right here, just these edges again. I don't want this part to come up, so I'm masking that out. Little things like this, like I want this strip to be on top. That, so just kind of little adjustments. We'll take a break now, come back at 1/4 after.